You don't just read Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis. No, it's a story you endure. It feels almost like a slow, quiet surgery on the human soul, all performed without any anesthetic. So today, let's conduct the autopsy. Our story starts right here, with this simple yet impossible idea. The physical change, well, it's immediate, isn't it? A grotesque spectacle. But Kafka, he's not really interested in the monster. He's interested in the man trapped inside. And even more than that, he's interested in the world that is now forced to look upon him. You see, the real horror doesn't happen in that one moment of transformation, but in every single moment that follows. So we have to start with the event itself, this unspeakable transformation, and the horribly, almost absurdly normal thoughts that come right after. Gregor Samsa, he's a dutiful son, a man completely shackled to a job he hates, and one morning he wakes up to find his body has betrayed him. He is now a giant insect, but what's truly staggering is his reaction. There's no scream of terror, no deep existential crisis. No, his mind, which is still so painfully human, just fixates on the mundane, the time, the train he's about to miss, the trouble he's going to be in with his boss. His metamorphosis is this huge cosmic catastrophe, but he experiences it as a workplace inconvenience. And that's our first clue, isn't it? That maybe, just maybe, he was already trapped long before he ever grew a carapace. The real horror is grounded in this very normalcy. This isn't some fantasy world, it's just a proper room for a human being. But for Gregor, these four familiar walls are no longer a sanctuary. They've become the borders of his entire new existence, the first stage of his prison. You see, the world he knew hasn't changed at all, but his relationship to it has been irrevocably and forever broken. And from this physical prison, an even greater one starts to take shape. The real tragedy isn't the body he's in now, but the mind he can't escape, a mind that can no longer connect with the world outside. This is probably the cruelest part of Kafka's whole design. Gregor is not a monster in his mind or his soul. Inside that grotesque shell, he is the exact same person. He's still worried about his parents' debt. He still remembers his plan to send his beloved sister to the music conservatory. He is filled with the same anxieties, the same love, the same sense of duty. He is completely himself, yet completely unrecognizable. And he really does try to bridge that gap. He forms the words with human intention, slowly and deliberately. In his own mind, he is communicating perfectly clearly. He's explaining why he's late. He's trying to reassure his frantic family and his very impatient manager. He's desperately trying to hold on to his place in the human world. And there it is, the central tragedy. His voice, the main way we connect with each other as humans, now only produces an animal's squeaking. His clear, human thoughts get garbled into this monstrous noise. This is the moment the cage door just slams shut. He's now isolated not just by how he looks, but by the very essence of communication itself. He can understand them, but they can no longer understand him. He is utterly, terrifyingly alone. And it's from this point of total alienation that the story's focus begins to shift. It moves away from Gregor's internal horror to the external horror we see reflected in the eyes of his family. And right here, the difference becomes painfully clear. Gregor's concerns, they're still selfless, focused entirely on his family's well-being. But his family's concerns, they're purely practical, even selfish. The moment his usefulness as a breadwinner disappears, he is no longer Gregor, their son and brother. He becomes a problem, an embarrassment, a financial burden. Their affection, we come to realize, was conditional. It was transactional. He was loved for what he provided, not for who he was. And that transactional relationship, while it very quickly sours into cruelty. Just look at the progression here. The initial shock, okay, that's understandable, but it so rapidly gives way to violence. His own father, the man he worked so hard to support, drives him back into his room like an animal. The initial kindness from his sister, Greet, it just degrades into a resentful duty. And then, the ultimate act of rejection from his father. An apple, a symbol of life, of knowledge, is used as a weapon. It gets lodged in his back as this festering, permanent reminder of his father's hatred, a wound he will carry to his grave. Now, to understand the true depth of this cruelty, we have to look at the specific word Kafka used. It wasn't just insect or bug. In the original German, the word was Ungeziefer, vermin. This choice of word is so deliberate and so devastating. Vermin are not just creatures. They are a category of being defined by their worthlessness to us, to humans. They are pests that need to be eradicated. They are filthy, they carry disease, and their very existence is an annoyance. To be called vermin is to have no right to exist. So you see, the transformation isn't random at all. It's just an externalization of Gregor's internal reality. He already felt like vermin, trapped in a dehumanizing job, living only to pay off his parents' debt without any real human connection. He already felt small and repulsive and worthless. His new body is simply a physical manifestation of the soul-crushing weight of his life. The story's conclusion, then, isn't some grand, tragic finale. It's more of a slow, quiet fade into nothingness. In his final moments, Gregor's thoughts are, once again, about his family. He overhears them talking about him as a burden they have to get rid of, and in a final, heartbreaking act of love, he agrees with them. He accepts their verdict. His death is not a surrender to despair, but a conscious choice, a sacrifice he makes for the comfort of the very people who now despise him. He makes himself disappear just to set them free. And this is perhaps the most chilling line in the entire story. It comes from Greet, the person who was once closest to him. Notice, she doesn't say him. She says it. The dehumanization is now complete. He is no longer her brother. He's just an object, a problem, a piece of filth to be removed. In that single, tiny word, she erases their entire history together. Gregor's death is met not with mourning, but with a profound sense of relief. It's like a weight has been lifted. The cleaning woman just sweeps away his body like it's so much trash, and the family, finally freed from their misfortune, immediately begins to plan a new life. They take a holiday. They talk about moving to a better apartment. Their future is built directly on the foundation of his death and his absence. His disappearance becomes the catalyst for their renewal. His memory is not honored. It is simply erased. The sun comes out and they feel a sense of hope for the first time in months. The story ends not with a resolution of Gregor's tragedy, but with this chilling image of his family blossoming in the wake of it. So after this whole journey into darkness, we have to ask ourselves, what is Kafka truly showing us? What is the point of this quiet, existential nightmare? Well, he's holding up a mirror. Kafka is holding up a mirror to our own world. He's suggesting that what we call love is often just an appreciation of usefulness. Gregor was valuable when he earned money. When he could no longer perform his function, his value evaporated. And so did the so-called love of his family. His humanity became irrelevant once his utility was gone. And this is the final, crucial takeaway. The monstrosity in this story is not Gregor's shell or his many twitching legs. The true monster is the quiet, practical cruelty of ordinary people. The horror is how easily we can withdraw our empathy, how quickly we can dehumanize those who become inconvenient to us, and how we can justify our own indifference in the name of practicality. And so, we are left with this, a question that burrows deep into your psyche. It asks us to examine the very foundations of our own relationships, our own value in the eyes of others, and our own capacity for compassion, or for cruelty. It is the lingering echo of Gregor's silent scream.